Every day, thousands of fans line up outside a grand house on Elvis Presley Boulevard, eager to step inside what they call the Heartbreak Hotel. This isn't just any house, it's the former home of the king himself, Elvis Presley. But what draws people here today might surprise you. This place, once a symbol of privacy for a private man, is now a sacred pilgrimage site for fans who worship Elvis as a god-like figure. It's a mix of shrine, museum, and a glimpse into the life of a man who changed music forever. In the quiet town of Memphis, Tennessee, stood a mansion that seemed out of place among the modest homes around it. This wasn't just any mansion, it was Graceland. Elvis bought it in 1957 for $100,000, a fortune back then. To most, it was just a big house, but to Elvis and his inner circle, it was a palace. They called it home, and it was here that he hosted his mafia, friends and bodyguards who were as much family as anyone could be. Guy Thomas Harris, a friend from Elvis's youth, remembers visiting Graceland before it became famous. "It ended in 1958 when I got married," Harris said. Gladys, Elvis's mother, was very welcoming. She said, "Just tell the cook what you want to eat and you'll have it." Those were simpler times before the crowds and the fame turned Graceland into a tourist magnet. Elvis's home was a blend of elegance and comfort. He wore fancy clothes for special occasions, but preferred jeans for everyday wear. He made everyone feel at home, even inviting them to sit at the piano and play. This openness was part of his charm, making his fans and friends feel special. But Graceland wasn't just a house, it was a symbol. When Elvis bought it, it showed he had made it big in the music world and with the big boys in Hollywood. It marked his rise from humble beginnings in a two-room house to a star with his own grand estate. Yet this rise came with unexpected challenges. The very place he sought to escape the public gaze became a tourist attraction he couldn't fully control. Elvis regretted not buying more land around Graceland, wishing for more privacy. But the house, now surrounded by development, remains a bustling sight for fans. The transformation of Graceland from a private home to a public attraction started unintentionally. Elvis's draft into the U.S. Army in 1958 changed everything. A simple letter from President Eisenhower requesting his service shook Elvis and his fans. It was a moment that showed even the king wasn't above the draft. Elvis went to basic training, shaved his iconic sideburns, and donned a green military uniform. To many, this was a smart move by the Army, showcasing that the draft was fair and open to all, including a music icon. Elvis's time in the Army wasn't just about following orders, it was also a clever PR move. His willingness to serve showed he was like any other young man, boosting his image and inspiring others to enlist. His uniform became a symbol, encouraging many to think about service and duty. So as fans gather outside Graceland today, they're not just visiting a house. They're stepping into a piece of history, a place where a man's music and legacy continue to resonate, even as the house itself has become a living testament to the complexities of fame and the dreams of those who followed the king. Elvis Presley's journey took an exciting turn when he became the first American to serve overseas, specifically in Germany. This was a big deal because his colonel, the famous manager Fred Parker, was afraid of him getting into trouble abroad, especially with Interpol, due to a murder charge from his past. Parker kept a close eye on Elvis, worried about any legal issues that could arise. However, serving in the Army was also a smart move for Elvis's career. It gave him a lot of free publicity, and his personal life became a topic of interest. Fred Frederick, someone close to Elvis, shared how the singer showed his humanity when his mother passed away while he was in the Army. Elvis was allowed to go home, and when he heard the news, he cried, showing that he was just a normal person who loved his family. This moment only added to the legend of Elvis Presley, painting him as someone who was not only a great singer but also someone with a heart. Even someone like Sonny West, who wasn't usually kind about Elvis, acknowledged how well he behaved while serving. West noted that Elvis was made a sergeant quickly and acted like any other regular soldier. He didn't seek special treatment, which was impressive. Back in the 1950s, being seen as a regular guy was a big achievement for a man. The U.S. Defense Department took note of Elvis's good behavior and continued to feature him in stories and pictures throughout his service. Elvis, being a loyal American, felt good about serving his country. Parker, Elvis's manager, saw this as a golden opportunity to boost Elvis's image and, importantly, sell more records. By carefully releasing songs during his service, they kept Elvis in the public eye, ensuring fans continued to buzz about him. Elvis's time in the Army also helped him make some lasting friendships. One of these friends was Joe Esposito, who was drafted around the same time as Elvis. Despite coming from different backgrounds, Esposito from the Midwest while Elvis was from the South, they hit it off while stationed in Germany. Esposito described how Elvis was friendly and down to earth, inviting him to play football and sharing stories about his life. This friendship was genuine, showing that Elvis was capable of forming deep bonds even in challenging environments. Esposito was asked by Elvis to be more than just a friend. He became Elvis's road manager, essentially running his operations. This was no small task, as it involved organizing everything from transport to gigs. Esposito threw himself into the role, becoming like a part of the inner circle, known affectionately as part of the Memphis Mafia. He worked closely with Elvis, ensuring the star knew where to go and what to do, making sure his life ran smoothly despite the chaos that often surrounded him. Back home, Elvis's image changed a bit once he returned from the Army. Before, some parents were worried about his music and influence, especially regarding his image as a sexually charged performer. However, after his Army experience, many adults saw him in a different light. They admired him as a serious, patriotic young man who had put his country first. For those close to Elvis, like Becky Yancey, his secretary, the perception of wild parties at his home, Graceland, was a myth. She emphasized that while gatherings happened, they were never out of control. Graceland was a family home with Elvis's grandmother and aunt living there. The idea of wild parties was far from the truth. Meanwhile, within Elvis's inner circle, especially among those with ties to the mafia, parties were a different story. These gatherings were known for being lively and memorable, with Joe Esposito being a central figure among those who enjoyed them. He was often seen as a key player in the social scene surrounding Elvis, showcasing the more relaxed and fun side of the star's life outside of his public persona. Elvis Presley, known simply as the King, was more than just a singer. He was like a prince in his own kingdom, Graceland. This big house was not just a home, it was a place where fans would come to feel close to their idol. But let's break down how this place came to be known as a mix of home and shrine. First off, Graceland wasn't always about being a museum. When Elvis lived there, it was very much his personal space. He designed almost everything himself. From the big couch to the TV, every item had a story. He chose things that made him feel at home, like his favorite white piano and blue curtains. Elvis wanted Graceland to be comfortable, a place where he and his family could relax. However, as time went on, Graceland started to change. It became a place where fans would come to see pieces of Elvis's life, almost like a big, fancy museum. The meditation garden where Elvis, his parents, and grandmother are buried became a spot for people to leave flowers and remember him. Even though Elvis didn't want to be buried there initially, it became a sacred place for fans. The house itself tells a lot about Elvis. You can still see how he liked things arranged just the way he wanted. But now, to keep everything running smoothly for visitors, some changes had to happen. For instance, they rotate some furniture to keep things fresh and interesting. It's like when you rearrange your toys to make playtime more fun. Despite these changes, Graceland still feels like it belongs to Elvis. People come from all over to visit, not just to see his house but to connect with the legend. It's a place where fans can feel close to someone they admired so much. However, it's not just about admiring the decor. Visitors can peek into the kitchen where Elvis cooked simple meals like hamburgers and sandwiches. He was just like any other person despite his star status. Elvis's journey to fame was incredible. He started in Memphis and went to Vegas, where he became even bigger, but fame is tricky. It can be overwhelming, and Elvis found it hard to deal with. He liked to keep things private, but the more famous he got, the harder it was to stay secluded. People would crowd him on the street, making it tough for him to live normally. The Memphis Mafia, Elvis's close friends and associates, helped him navigate this whirlwind of fame. They were like his team, always there to support him, yet even with their help, Elvis struggled. He would sometimes retreat to inner rooms like the Jungle Room, filled with odd treasures he collected, much like a kid collecting strange toys. These rooms showed how he tried to keep a piece of normalcy in his life amidst all the glitz and glamour. In the end, Graceland stands as a testament to Elvis's life, a mix of personal haven and public shrine. It shows us not just the man behind the music, but also the challenges of fame. Visitors today walk through a house that feels both familiar and sacred, a place where the line between home and museum blurs. Elvis may be gone, but Graceland lives on, reminding us of a legend who touched so many lives.